Plants deserve more than a chemical diet. Give them the natural power of nature's living soil, packed with organic amendments and living microbes that feed the soil and fuel growth from the roots up. Stronger plants, bigger yields, better results. Shop natureslivingsoil.com and use code WWPGEN10 to get 10% off today. Nature's Living Soil. Feed the soil. Watch life flourish.
Good day, and welcome to WWP Genetics. We're thrilled that you have joined us for another engaging and educational video. Today, I will be discussing synthetic versus plant-derived cannabinoids, what science, medicine, and risk really say. Today, we are diving into one of the most misunderstood topics in modern cannabis science, the difference between synthetic cannabinoids and plant-derived cannabinoids. As cannabis becomes more mainstream, more legal, and more scientifically explored, conversation around what is natural, what is synthetic, and what is actually safe has never been more important. Most people hear the word synthetic and immediately think of dangerous street drugs like Spice or K2. But the truth is more complex. Some synthetic cannabinoids are legitimate pharmaceuticals that have been used for decades in clinical use, while others are unpredictable chemicals that have sent thousands of people to emergency rooms across the United States. Understanding this distinction is no longer optional. It's essential for patients, consumers, healthcare providers, and policymakers. In this video, we are going to break down what cannabinoids are, how they interact with the human body, why some synthetic cannabinoids are legitimate medicines, while others are responsible for emergency room visits and deaths, and what modern science is actually telling us about the risk versus benefit. Cannabinoids are a broad family of chemical compounds that interact with the body's endocannabinoid system. And that's a regulatory network that's inside your body. It involves your mood, your appetite, your immune function, your pain perception, your memory, and stress response. This system includes CB1 and CB2 receptors. It also includes cannabinoids that are produced within your body and the enzymes that break them down. When cannabinoids bind to the CB1 and CB2 receptors, they influence how cells communicate. This interaction is the foundation for both the therapeutic potential and the possible risks associated with cannabinoid use. Plant-derived cannabinoids are also known as phytocannabinoids. They originated naturally in the cannabis plant. Scientists have identified more than 100 distinctive phytocannabinoids, each with its own purpose. The most well-known among them are delta-9, commonly referred to as THC, and cannabidiol, known as CBD. THC is the primary psychoactive compound in cannabis and produces its effects largely through partial activation of the CB1 receptors in the brain. THC has also been studied for its influence on tumor cell proliferation, also for how it affects your immune system, and it also helps patients to manage chemotherapy-induced nausea. THC also helps with the loss of appetite. CBD, on the other hand, has been widely studied for seizure disorders. Clinical trials led by the FDA approved for a medicine called Epidiolex, which is a CBD-based medication used to treat rare forms of epilepsy. Besides epilepsy, CBD has been explored for its anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective properties. Research from institutions such as the University of Sao Paulo and King's College has examined CBD's potential in reducing anxiety, regulating serotonin receptors, and even influencing neuroplasticity. Additional studies have investigated cannabinoids for chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, sleep disorders, and PTSD symptoms. These findings contribute to a growing consensus that plant-derived cannabinoids, when regulated and tested, offer a therapeutic potential with a stable safety profile. The term synthetic cannabinoids encompasses a broad and often misunderstood category. In its most neutral sense, it refers to cannabinoids that are created in laboratories rather than extracted from plants. Some of these synthetic compounds are structurally identical or very similar to natural occurring cannabinoids, and are developed for legitimate medical use. Two synthetic cannabinoids are dronabinol and nobiline. These medications are synthetic analogs of THC and are prescribed for chemotherapy-induced nausea, vomiting, and appetite loss associated with AIDS. These drugs undergo extensive clinical testing. They have standard dosing and are produced under strict pharmaceutical manufacturing regulations. On the opposite end of the spectrum are illicit synthetic cannabinoids. These chemicals are designed to imitate the psychoactive effects of THC, but for completely different molecule structures. These substances are often sprayed onto dry plant material or sold as powders and liquids. They are marketed under names like Spice, K2, Black Mama, Scooby Snacks, and a dozen other brands. Despite being labeled not for human consumption, they are widely used as cannabis substitutes. These illicit synthetics bear almost no resemblance to natural cannabinoids. Their chemical structures vary widely, and manufacturers constantly alter formulas to evade detection. This makes them unpredictable, dangerous, and difficult for healthcare providers to treat. The biggest difference between natural THC and many illicit synthetic cannabinoids lies in how they interact with the CB1 receptors. THC activates the receptors, but only to a limited degree. This creates a built-in safety buffer in receptor signaling. Many illicit synthetic cannabinoids bind more tightly and activate these receptors far more aggressively than THC ever would. Some synthetics also have much longer lives, remaining active in the body for extended periods. Receptor binding studies show that this excessive CB1 activation disrupts normal balance. This disruption is associated with severe psychosis, cardiovascular instability, and seizures. These are not hearsay. They are documented repeatedly in emergency medicine literature. These reactions are not typical of natural cannabis, even at high doses. Another key issue is potency. Some synthetic cannabinoids are estimated to be 50 to 100 times more potent than natural THC at the CB1 receptor. This means even a tiny amount of the synthetic cannabinoids trigger overwhelming psychological responses. Plant-derived cannabis products are sold in licensed markets and undergo strict testing protocols. These include screening for pesticides, heavy metals, microbial contaminations, and accurate cannabinoid potency. This level of oversight helps ensure that consumers know exactly what they are ingesting. On the other hand, illicit synthetic cannabinoids, by contrast, are produced with no oversight whatsoever. They are often manufactured in unregulated labs. They are dissolved in solvents and spread unevenly on plant material. Two packages of the same brand may contain completely different chemicals or wildly different concentrates. This inconsistency is one of the main reasons synthetic cannabinoids are so dangerous. Public health agencies have documented outbreaks where hundreds of people were hospitalized after consuming synthetic products contaminated with rat poisoning, fentanyl analogs, or unknown industrial chemical. The difference between synthetic and plant-derived cannabinoids is not a minor technicality. It is a fundamental distinction rooted in chemistry, biology, regulation, and public health. Plant-derived cannabinoids are supported by a growing body of science research and are increasingly integrated into medical and adult use systems. Synthetic cannabinoids exist on a spectrum, ranging from carefully developed pharmaceuticals to illicit substances with extreme and predictable risk. Unpredictable risk. Transparency, regulations, and scientific education are the keys to safety. As cannabis continues to evolve culturally and legally, distinguishing between synthetic cannabinoids and plant-based cannabinoids is more important than ever. We hope you found today's video educational. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share to stay updated on our latest content. For more exciting insights, be sure to check out our brother channel at WWP Logistics. See you in the next video.